So this lake right behind me here is the Loch Ness. Deep within the Scottish Highlands lies the 36.2 kilometre long lake known as the Loch Ness, which is home to one of the world's most legendary mysteries. For nearly a century, witnesses, sonar scans and mysterious ripples have kept the legend alive. And today, we're playing hide and seek with the Loch Ness Monster. No, actually, today we're trying to find the Loch Ness. First, let me tell you a bit more about the Loch Ness Monster, known as Nessie. Nessie is a mythical creature described as a large, long-necked, serpent-like animal. It gained fame from the 1930 sighting known as the Surgeon's Photograph, appeared to show a long-necked creature rising from the Loch Ness. Newspapers worldwide picked up, sparking huge public fascination. Right.
There's no chance of seeing the Loch Ness Monster.
No chance at all?
None, because my ex-brother-in-law married it. And they moved to Australia.
What do you think? Real? Do you believe in it or not?
Of course.
Yeah?
Of course.
Have you seen the photos online and stuff of it?
No.
More chance of a Yeti than
okay.
It'd be nice if it was true. It's super deep though, right? So
It holds more fresh water than all the other lakes and lochs in Scotland, England and Wales.
He's right. Loch Ness stretches for nearly 22 miles through the Scottish Highlands, reaching depths of around 230 metres, spans up to 2.7 kilometres wide, and holds an immense 7.4 cubic kilometres of water. That's more than all the lakes in England and Wales combined. Do you think it's real? Do you believe in it? Do you believe in it?
I think it's probably big eels or snails. I mean, there's too many sonar contacts for nothing. Do you know what I mean? There's definitely something. If you're in the area, have you been down to see Steve?
I've heard he has some mad stories, like, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he's the one that has all the information.
Yeah. Steve Feltham, for over 3 decades, has lived on the shores of the Scotland's Loch Ness, dedicating his life to one mystery, the legendary Loch Ness Monster. Since 1981, he's watched the water from his converted van, investigating every ripple and sighting, recognised by the Guinness World Records as the longest serving Nessie hunter. Welcome to Dawes. We're actually indoors now because there's a guy that lives here and he's the longest Loch Ness hunter. So he's been hunting the Loch Ness Monster since 1991. We're gonna go try find him. We're gonna go knock on his door. Yeah, we're gonna say hello. Can you show us the Loch Ness Monster? What was that?
And I'm not talking.
So that means he's been playing hide and seek for us since 1991. We're entering Steve Irwin's.
Steve Irwin.
Is this guy like the Steve Irwin of the fucking Loch Ness? This is Steve's house, I'm telling you. Look, nazyhunting.co.uk. Yo, dude, is Steven here?
Sure.
We've heard there's a guy called Steve or something around here that's like the Nessie hunter, or is there not?
I think this guy is still alive.
Right, if he's awake. Does he live in here, or is it his little...
I wouldn't say anyone is. Spent a lot of time down here.
Yeah.
Like looking out at the lake trying to find the monster. But what do you think? Is there a monster?
That is the question. What do you think?
It's gone on too long for no one not to proper evidence.
Too small a lot.
The thing is, the photos that are online are literally like, they look like, they just look like wood, don't they?
It's like a fence post with half a tractor tire.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't know. That's what we're trying to find out. I mean, no one will ever find out, I don't think.
But that's part of the mystery, isn't it? Like, there's leprechauns in Ireland, but we never see them.
Exactly. We just drove 40 fucking minutes and he was not even there. Should we ask them if the dog speaks Scottish? So do you believe it's real or not? Wait, how long have you worked here?
Just retired. I was 43 years working on cruise boats on Loch Ness.
Oh, and also I forgot to tell you, we met up with some of the Loch Ness legends and experts in this video, who can tell us the ins and outs and show us all evidence they have. Meet Richard MacDonald. Richard MacDonald was an experienced boat skipper. He worked with Cruise Loch Ness. Over the years he's reported several unexplained sightings, moments that keep the mystery of Nessie alive. So is there any actually proof of it or not? Like full on? So obviously I see all these photos online and it looks like a stick.
Photos are, people see what they see. You can't tell somebody that they didn't see something.
Yeah,
because they were there and you weren't. The things I go on are sonar contacts, because sonar doesn't know it's on Loch Ness. It's not pre-programmed with the Loch Ness legend.
Right. Is that thing the bottom of the boat, right?
Yeah.
You genuinely think it's real, yeah?
Definitely.
But have you got any evidence of it?
Sonar prints from, what, 2005 on?
Oh, wow, yeah. So
that big thing bottom right is something big. Top left, you've got a shoal of fish weighing about a ton.
Okay, yeah. I've never seen that image before.
No,
I've
never released it.
Wow. So what other stuff do you have of it? Or is that...
Oh God, I'll get heaps. There's a big one there.
Oh, yeah.
3 there.
What is that? What are they? No.
Your guess is as good as mine. Problem is, with the loch
see
is
down
so
there.
dark that you can't film in it.
Does.
Even on the surface, you've got a maximum range of like 2.5 meters.
Okay.
So as you go down, that shortens. So you could be right beside something and never ever see it. That fish, by the way, is on that screen there.
So that's that.
Yep, that green dot is the fish at 5 feet and 60 odd pounds. And then you've got these two great big red dots beside it. What size are they?
Yeah,
Now that's
that's
from an
brilliant.
electronic device. Not adding, it's not taking away, it's just seeing what's there. Surface to bottom in 20 seconds. Physical impossibility because now water pressure should have crushed that about here.
Yeah.
That's about 100 meters deep. And that's it gone right to 160 meters. So it's diving at nearly 10 meters per second. That's nuts.
Okay.
These are all sonar contacts and they're all different. So it shows that there's different objects down there. What on earth can they be?
How often would they happen?
They happen an average of about, 3 a week?
Okay. Oh wow, right.
Fair amount of information out there.
We've got a guy on the big boat, he'll be back. A guy called Sean.
Right.
He was on the telly with that strange sonar contact. He'll be happy to speak to you.
Spot on. Thank you very much for that. Cheers. Sean Sluggy is a veteran boat skipper on Scotland's Loch Ness. In September 2024, he captured something extraordinary. The sonar image of a massive unknown object nearly 100 metres below the surface. His discovery reignited global interest, making him one of the most credible modern witnesses to the mystery. Unfortunately, Sean was doing a tour at the time we were there. However, we scheduled a call with Sean to deep dive and learn more about the Loch Ness Monster, and for him to also show us his evidence. Introduce yourself. What's your name? What do you do and stuff like this?
Happy days. So, hello world, Sean Slogan. I live in a village called Fort Augustus, which is on the shore of the Loch Ness. I've been working for the best part of 10 years now for a company called Cruise Loch Ness. We do tours on probably the most famous loch in the world, and my job is to teach people about the history, how far science has come, and of course talk about this elusive creature called Nessie. Yeah, it's probably one of the best jobs in the world, I would say.
What first got you interested in the monster?
It's a tale since I was a wee boy, yeah. But then I didn't really think much about the monster, let's say. When it came to working on the loch, ever since I was wee, I did have a fascination with water. There's all these documentaries. Remember the Deep Blue? You know, David Attenborough, and you see all these strange and wonderful creatures.
What's all the evidence you have then?
Do I have?
Yeah. What's all the stuff you have?
When we're out there, we do the same 50-minute loop, and we go round and round and round in circles all day long. Throughout the years, we're using sonars, live-action marine sonar, and it's just sending pulses of sound directly beneath us. And it keeps picking up creatures at the bottom of the loch, in the dark, under immense pressure. For 75 years, we had known that there are creatures down there. What they are is still a bit of a mystery. When it comes to the Loch Ness Monster itself, they believe, and scientists believe, it could be a plesiosaur. I believe it could be a plesiosaur or some sort of similar species. It should have been extinct 66 million years ago. Their bones were first discovered in Dorset in the 1800s. The most common dinosaur bone that you will find in Scotland is the plesiosaur bone. So they were here. Because the water itself has gone from salt to fresh, it could do what we've done, adapt, evolve, or survive. The most recent discovery in Loch Ness, well, it was not actually in the loch, but there's a river called the River Foyers that flows directly into Loch Ness. And for probably 55 years, they believe that there could be sturgeon in the loch. There's an American couple off their own behalf did a DNA test in the River Foyers. Lo and behold, they found sturgeon. So that's a 240 million year old dinosaur that produces caviar. That must be in the loch at some point because it's managed to get into that river. But the oldest creature in the loch is prehistoric. It predates the dinosaur, which is the lamprey. So you get the sea lamprey and you get a brook lamprey. They're 320 million years old. They're so old that they don't have bones. They've got 5 rows of razor-sharp teeth. Long story short, in Loch Ness, there are prehistoric creatures, there are dinosaurs, there are fish that shouldn't be here. There's been over 2,000 surface sightings recorded. In 1975, the University of Chicago put motions through baited cameras 180 metres down at the bottom of Loch Ness. Well, what they captured probably created the biggest monster hunt in the world known to man. Photo which looks exactly like a plesiosaur. It's got a long neck, it's got a head, it's got a big body, and it's got 2 fins. So that camera was triggered by this large creature, and it looks like the plesiosaur. And then for myself, when that huge creature went underneath our boat on the sonar, they're practically identical. And the amazing thing about the sonar is what it does, it looks for air. If there's air inside of something, it curves slightly, like a wee croissant shape. So all the large contacts that I sent you earlier, they've got that kind of croissant shape. They're alive, moving about.
So do you think there is multiple monsters or just one? Do you think think they're breeding? Because obviously it's been around for what, 1500 years?
1,500 years they've been talking about this creature in the loch. Now, if it's the same creature that people are saying, then they're seeing, who knows. There was a very strange case when they left a male hammerhead shark in an aquarium, and within 4 months of it being in an aquarium, they noticed it had pups. Like, well, that's very strange. You know, it hasn't managed to reproduce. And what it was called is asexual reproduction. It manages to clone itself. So it is more than possible for one creature to reproduce. However, people only believe there is one monster because of a fake photograph. It looks like this. You know that black and white surgeon's photo?
Yeah.
Before that photo, they'd scanned the loch with sonar, and during what they called Operation Deep Scan, they found 3 creatures over 7 metres long moving once they scanned the loch. So that proved that there were large things down there. What they were, people still don't know. So I would say, yeah, there's more than one. The last scientist I was speaking to, he had a look at one of my sonar contacts, and he uses the coded and the frequencies from the colours on the chart, on the sonar, and then he said there was 3 creatures in the loch at different areas in the one day. So he said there was 3 in the loch at one time. But it'd be nice to think it wasn't alone.
Has there been anything else like found in the loch? Like as in like dolphins and that? Or...
They have had dolphins with cameras searching Loch Ness because they thought maybe creatures could find creatures, and 11 dolphins were put in the loch, and because the average temperature of the loch is 5 degrees Celsius, 9 of the 11 dolphins.
Oh, wow.
But other creatures do come in and out of Loch Ness because it flows out and down into the North Sea. So there are creatures that are in Loch Ness that should not be there. Like the Arctic char is one of them, which is the most common fish in Loch Ness. One that we get quite recently is seals. That's the only creature that I'm really aware of that comes in that shouldn't really be there. Creatures that do come into the loch, the furthest one away comes from the Sargasso Sea, and that's the European eel. So that's the only really thing I'm aware of that kind of comes in and out of the loch frequently, and maybe messy, of course.
Do you think it's exaggerated over time by tourists or not?
I definitely do. See back in like the 80s and the 90s and stuff like that, there was a language barrier for a start. There wasn't really much social media. So probably back then, you would get the fame and you'd be in the newspaper. So if you just turn around and say to somebody, oh, I've seen this, bingo, you're in the front of a newspaper and become quite famous. There is probably quite a lot of people that lie about it and claim to have seen something. I've lived here my whole life, 30 years now, and I've worked on Loch Ness for 10 years. I've only ever seen one strange thing on the surface that I couldn't explain. But then I'd also say that 98% of sightings that are on Loch Ness are done by tourists that have been to 5 or 6 whiskey distillery tours before they get to the boat. And if you're in an environment that you've never seen before, if you're looking for Nessie, you've got a bird on the surface, that's very distant, that could be Nessie. You got to point it out, boom, it's a diving bird, it's gone. What
did you see on top of the lake then? What you said you couldn't explain?
About 2018, we were away out in a vessel called the Legend of Loch Ness. And when you turn out into the middle of the loch, when you're looking back towards the village of Fort Augustus, you'll actually see this massive U shape where the ice came through, where it was carved out. So there's a body photo. So the sun was beaming, it was reflecting off the loch, and I took a photo. And in that photo, probably about a mile in front of us, there was something in the water, and it looked like a neck and arm.
Are you trying to get proof in a different way or anything? Trying to send cameras down?
So if you ever go out on the loch yourself, you'll notice the water is brown, full of peat sediment. So the sunlight doesn't actually get down there. Once you go past roughly 22 metres down, there is no light at all. So if you go down there, which they have been in submarines in the 60s, a guy called Dan Taylor, he went down. An American scientist in a little yellow submarine called the Viperfish, he went down there and he couldn't see a thing. DNA analysis was the biggest one that was done recently. That was a university from New Zealand, Otago. They did 250 samples, different areas at different depths. They had over 500 million codes of DNA that they had to go through. 418 codes of DNA that they found completely new to science, never seen before, didn't know what they were, couldn't match it with anything.
Do you think it's strange that there's been no fatalities?
Well, the first recorded sighting of 500 AD was a Scotch-Irish missionary, and he came across 2 fishermen via the River Ness, and one man had been brutally attacked by a creature which they called Cianna Uistig, and that creature then became to be the Loch Ness Monster. So the first ever recorded sighting with fatalities, there was a fatality.
Right. Yeah. Do you think it's harsh to say it's a monster or not then?
I don't know, what is the definition of monster? I think we just call it something we don't understand. For me, I would say it's probably an ancient dinosaur. It could be prehistoric.